the release of Roshi in September this year, people were interested to see who would be announced next. Unfortunately, because of COVID-19, we have seen a massive delay in this season's DLC. While I, for one, am not overly worried about the next DLC, I thought I would make a video on the next DLC candidates with a big twist. My DLC predictions will be what I hope get picked, but I'll also give who I expect will take that slot. Another big theory out there in the community is, see, with Roshi sporting his Resurrection F and Tournament of Power clothing, some believe it will be a Tournament of Power style pack. Why wouldn't they think this, since Ultra Ignorance Goku and Kefla are in the DLC pack too? So I'll also give my Tournament of Power DLC hopes and predictions there as well. Before we begin, I want to point out that Roshi has taken the last remaining hero slot on the roster, so there's no more heroes. That leaves only a villain and a possible neutral slot remaining. Unless ArcSys wants to make a one-sided roster, I'm going to believe that we will pick a neutral candidate, so all my DLC candidates will reflect that thinking. And now onto the villain slot. Now, if by some chance this season's pack isn't supposed to be Tournament of Power themed, these are my hopes on the next DLC for villain. Number 1. Baby Vegeta! This is my number 1 choice for this DLC. I loved everything about Baby Vegeta, from his story lore, his design. The latter forms go down a notch, but that's only slightly because he's still cool looking. And he has multiple episodes from GT to pull from. This would also satisfy the lack of Vegeta clones, as well as the GT representation for this game. He could even have a dramatic intro and finish against GT Goku. Or what about that level 5 that transforms into a Great Ape? Then we'll have all the Saiyan transformations covered in this game, which is pretty surprising. Number 2, Android 13. Now, I wasn't the biggest fan of Android 13's movie. Despite that, I think he could make a cool addition to the cast. He could possibly call Androids 14 and 15 to help him like a puppet character. He could even have a proper install level 3 super, making him Super Android 13, at the cost of losing 14 and 15 as assists. Now, I know this could be a big pill to swallow at Arc System Works, but they have gone far above and beyond with Roshi and Kefla. With Roshi, you know he's got no super dash, so they really worked hard at this character to make them good. And Kefla, they didn't have to add Kale and Caulifla, but they did it anyways, and they also did the dramatic finish with Kefla, and they even made lobby characters for them. So this would be slightly easier to make, because Android 13 can fly and do all the intended system mechanics. This would be a nice change, as we'll have another character that's simple to understand and play like Kefla. Number 3, Bojack, or number 2.5. Okay, before I nerd out about talking about Bojack, know that he would probably play similarly like Android 13, but with his crew assisting him, and his supers could possibly be him getting stronger like Roshi, as in no install super, but it's still a possibility. With that out of the way, he could have a stagger special move by calling his crew to do the energy web move, or even that could be his 236X series, but it's probably going to be 236S. His 5S could also call his crew to do work like Fidel, and then he has his buff form, which could be like Roshi's DP, but maybe it's a grab or it's a key blast after and it goes through assists or something. We could even have another dramatic finish with Team Gohan. He would be a deceptively fast, big body character with rushdown and good solo mix-ups since he has his crew, but he could also be probably a good anchor. If this season's DLC is Tournament of Power themed, these are my DLC hopes. Number 1 / number 2. You'll get the idea in a second. Trio D Dangers from Universe 9 / Maidens of Love from Universe 2. Now, I put both of these together because they're practically the same, since their movesets are so similar that I just put them together for simplicity. They could also call their crew to do neutral block strings, etc., like Bojack or Android 13. You get the picture. However, they do have differences, of course, to be unique and true to their characters and their lore. Bergamo, the playable Trio D Danger leader, will get stronger from every attack inflicted on him. Call his brothers. Lavender is the one that does the poison thing, right? For block strings, or to do poison damage, and be the first character to introduce debuffs during a match, and release damage dealt on him on his opponent like a passive Spirit Bomb ability. The level 3 could even be that Trio D Danger beam attack they do. You can also have an alternate level 3 where it's just Bergamo solo and he gets giant, but I'm sure it does less damage and probably will be harder to use. Globku did a video on him which better explains and points out his possible moves from the show that he could use. Nonetheless, Bergamo will be a great point/mid character as he has that passive ability with his brothers, backing him up, replacing a lot of lost assists. Another simple to play character like Kefla, but with a little bit more finesse to it. Ribrianne, on the other hand, could have her signature poses that could possibly debuff the opponents. Highly unlikely, however. Despite that, she could have transformations in her flying form, possibly in air tracking level 1 into level 2, since she does the second part of the attack that's probably going to be a lot more damage. Her giant form as her level 3, and have the other mains come in for an alternate level 3 like Ginyu as well. Finally, she could call her maiden friends like normal, have that underground ki blast that hit grabs or to true grab low, but holds the opponent like Majin Buu's fat throw. She would also be a mix-up machine with surprising mobility and deceiving special moves like M. Bison from Street Fighter, or Vega depending on your localization. Now, I've gone over my hopes. Here's what my realistic DLC predictions are. For non-tournament of power theme, of course, it's Omega Shenron from GT. Now, even as Roshi was leaked, rumored, requested, leaked again, confirmed, trailer shown off, and finally added to the game, people have asked for Omega at the same time. There was even a data mine potential intro with Gogeta possibly hinting at him. Then there's also the Bandai Namco Latin account that has leaked Roshi before, and they said it was a quote-unquote coincidence. But then they also showcase Roshi hanging out with some Dragon Balls, and the background is blue, but Roshi's is kind of yellow, dirt, brown. It's hard to tell, but then they also said that this doesn't 100% confirm him, but since he's also from GT, he's really the one person to have a dramatic finish with GT Goku, and given their track record, I think they might have leaked him. While I'm not sure how he would work, he would certainly be an interesting character thanks to his vast move pool to draw from, as in the other dragons. For Tournament of Power, of course it's gotta be Taiko, the leader of the Pride Troopers, the person who would have a dramatic finish with Blue Vegeta, allied with Jiren, who is snapped in this game, and have his God of Destruction form with Hakai for more fierce, but possibly better or worse, I don't really know yet. Power tends to sell in DLC, and if UI Goku's in a showcase, I wouldn't be surprised if he did get picked and he's overpowered. He's also in the top 50 most requested characters for this game, with Omega and number 1 going to Roshi, who's now in this game. He's got many episodes and manga panels for Arc System Works to draw moves for him. I think someone said he would be a grappler with Ki Blast nullification abilities, and if so, he would be a threat to Z Broly, and be like Z Broly at the same time. He would kind of like balance it out, because he's like, okay, he's got the energy nullification, so Z Broly has to approach him, and then maybe he has faster command grabs or something. I don't know, maybe he'll hit like a truck, I don't know. Now, the roster is evened out on both sides, and I really don't think Arc System Works would make the roster one-sided. So, that leaves only one place where this last DLC will be, in the middle being a neutral between both. Here's my hopes for said neutral character. Number 1, Fu. Wait, don't leave the video now. Please let me explain. Fu is truly neutral. Not good, nor bad, thanks to Xenoverse 2 and Super Dragon Ball Heroes. He's also super popular, being one of the quote-unquote next-gen Bardock and Broly sort of situation. So he would be perfect for a neutral slot, as he's still a character from DBZ's creator, Akira Toriyama. Now, why didn't I say Mira and Toa or Shallot, for instance, instead? Well, Fu's got a sword. He would be another sword character, with Traps he could lay being a very unique character from the roster, and we could get more sword boys in the game. No cap. What does Mira and Toa and Shallot have that's unique? Mira just steals moves at a rate like Goku, same with Shallot, and Toa's big special move from Xenoverse is just a healing attack. Now, they could have their alternate forms, but that doesn't add too much to them, in my opinion, honestly. There's also the Xenoverse locked specials, but that's highly generic and boring looking, even though Arc System would probably make it look sick in this game regardless. Fu could be another debuff character. I really like debuffs being introduced. And could, if Arc System Works wanted to, explain why certain characters exist, like Teen Gohan and Kid Buu at the same time as Majin Buu and Adult Gohan. Now, that shouldn't be the solo driving force of Fu, but then again, they could also pull him from Super Dragon Ball Heroes anime promos and promote that in FighterZ with him. So, I just see this as like a win-win for Arxis and Bandai, to be fair. Number 2, Majub/Oob. Yes, I'm mostly referring to Majub for this DLC pick, as Oob probably doesn't have enough moves to make a full-fledged character. Regardless, he's perfect for a neutral character slot as he's a villain, reformed into a hero, and the new chapter has come out, and I don't see why they wouldn't do that either, because that's another great move, money-wise, for Arxis and Bandai Namco. Majub could use the Kamehameha, his whirlwind attack against Baby Vegeta, Candy Beam as well. Probably would work like Mothaba snapping, but killing if the opponent is low enough, and he would have a level 3 where he could power it up to a level 5. Think Ginyu's level 1, so it's not like a traditional level 5 like Super Saiyan Blue Goku. You can put in 1 bar meter to make it a level 4, and then again to make it a level 5 at max. Then we'll have a complete Majin Buu story arc, minus Super Buu, because I don't think he's unique enough on his own, and since Kipu uses a signature attack at the same time, and he's more of a villain than a neutral character, so it wouldn't work, but I could see it. Yeah, not a lot of neutral characters left to hope for besides Whis. However, Whis wouldn't work lore-wise, and Arxis has been pretty true to the lore so far. Not counting the time-pulled characters, because it's of course a game, and so if Whis did get introduced, I wouldn't get mad, just sad, because when you think about it, Whis is already in the game, and they don't have to work very hard to make him a character. So here's what I expect from the neutral DLC. Number 1, Majin Vegeta. Now here's where I expect Majin Vegeta to land as DLC if he gets chosen. It's the only place that would work. But please don't get upset when he doesn't get added to the game. I'm saying this not because I'm a Majin Vegeta hater or anything like that, but because he's a lobby character and he has very few moves left to give him to be unique. Now if there's enough moves for him, though, he would just be Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta with hardly any difference to Super Saiyan Vegeta, besides the armor and a tattoo on his forehead. Baby Vegeta would also satisfy that another Vegeta clone anyways, and they could just add a dramatic finish against Buu to Super Saiyan Vegeta, but change him to look like Majin Vegeta, like he powers up to level the Super Saiyan 2 and stuff like that. Yes, I know it shouldn't work like that, but at the same time, if Toppo got picked, they're not adding a Super Saiyan Blue or Vegeta simply for a dramatic finish. You get the idea? And at the same time, when you think about it here, Arc System Works' dramatic finishes aren't exactly that popular with, or tied into the show very much. Now, if you wanted something like that, you would probably want Xenoverse 2, minus the create your own characters things for the story. But, yeah, I would want a Majin Vegeta finish with Majin Buu, with that being said. Also, I wouldn't mind if he did become the next DLC. So I don't sound like a Majin Vegeta hater in this video. I do love his Atomic Blast move, and the fight between Super Saiyan 2 Goku, and him, and of course, the great final sacrifice he does that doesn't work out, unfortunately. Number 2, Hercule. Now, here's where the Tournament of Power theme falls flat on its face. Almost. The only neutral character left, excluding the other angels and more Gods of Destruction, is Hercule. He wasn't a true hero during the Cell arc, he just happened to help 16 in the end, but he did become a hero during the Buu arc towards the middle and end. However, Arc System Works doesn't like making joke characters, if I remember correctly, and Hercule will be a massive joke character added to the roster, with plenty of funny tricks to use at his disposal, including a gun, a gift-themed C4 attack, and pleading to be spared that somehow probably like his Reflect, which is not going to be good like Dell. Now, could they do another character without Super Dash, is the question. With Hercule, I guess they could go with the guys that, if he wins, it's an over-exaggerated, over-the-top story, or a fake movie with effects, or he was just dreaming. Would I play him, though, in the end? Probably not. And that's all my DLC predictions for this video. I hope you all enjoyed, and if you do want to say who's your hopes versus realistic predictions, please say so in the comments. I'm FGC Nerd, and remember, the impossible is never possible!